Why are you putting this prosthetic thing on me? Just trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. I'm the makeup department. What else? What am I supposed to do?
I
Not
am the
put it
makeup
on you?
department. I'm the only one.
It's just me.
Welcome to the 6th Halo episode. Halo 4. And also the podcast. I'm Alina.
I'm Peter.
Finally. I'm Cole.
And everyone welcome to the Halo 4 episode. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. This one's going to be very different from the other ones, because the other ones I really like and cherish and praise and nostalgia over constantly. This one is not one of those. This one I have played like 10 times at most. And as
Which may sound like a lot to the untrained eye.
Yeah.
But if you've seen our previous Halo episodes,
you will if anybody has been watching these religiously in order, and I doubt anyone has, but if you have and you've been seeing
First of all, props to you.
Props to you,
what are
honestly.
you
Like a
doing?
good thank you. Thank you for the attention. Also, what are you doing? These are like 1.5, 2 hours long.
hey, you probably need something
We
on.
can't be
or
that
like-
funny, right?
I mean, we're probably. I mean, I think we can be. I just didn't think we're that consistently funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah,
we're pretty
that's true.
hilarious, but like, I'm biased.
I mean, that's true. If the Cybertruck bit is anything to go off of.
That did get like 60 something views, and I'm proud of that. But yes, if you've been watching these and you've noticed my emphasis on the whole Forerunner thing, you will know why today. But we're not there yet. So Halo 4 is the first game that 343 Industries produced for the Halo franchise. 343 Industries was made by Microsoft. I think it's half of the original Bungie team, and then the other half went off to make Destiny.
Approximately, yeah.
Approximately, and 343 Industries was specifically created by Microsoft to keep pumping out more Halo. If you couldn't tell by the fucking name. Couldn't have made it. 343 Guilty Spark.
No, I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
No, I just don't get it.
I'm staring at the direction of your house right now.
Stop! You're gonna catch my house on fire!
Anyway. This... I'm just gonna say this right off the bat to anybody who likes this game. I understand that the multiplayer was good.
I think there are like some to get it off my chest immediately.
Mhm.
The thing there are aspects of this game I almost like, and I wish I could like them.
Yeah, like
because I can almost see what they were going for.
Yeah,
but they fucked up.
Yeah, like and okay, I understand that this game became popular mostly because of the multiplayer, and I agree with all of you. The multiplayer was good. I'm not one for multiplayer usually, so I didn't play it a lot, but I know based on all of my other friends, it was good. They played it a lot. They liked it a lot. I am not saying the multiplayer was bad. I'm saying the campaign story could have been way better. And it wasn't. That is what I am saying. I just want to get that out of the way, because I know past 3, a lot of people play Halo for the multiplayer and not for the campaign, and I am not one of those people. So just a heads up if you're one of those people. Not talking about multiplayer. Not dissing the multiplayer. at all. But anyway, before we critique the plot, we should probably go over the plot. Or what?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We can critique the. You said this is going to be a different, very different episode than the other ones. We can just
Yes.
critique the plot without going over it.
Well, I mean, I want to go over it like vaguely. It's not going to be as in depth as before because I haven't memorized every single fucking line from this game. This is going to be a summary, like an actual summary.
Those don't exist. What are you talking about?
I'm also open to interjecting criticism of things I'm talking about because I know I tend to ramble, but here I'm going to try to not do that because there's not much I'm going to say. Okay, so starting off, Halo 4 takes place 4 years, 7 months, and 10 days after 3. If you all remember, in 3, Master Chief and Arbiter go to blow up the Ark, the big Halo controlling thingy, try to escape. The Arbiter escapes in one half of the Forward Until Dawn giant ship, and the Master Chief doesn't. He is stuck in space, somewhere outside of the galaxy with Cortana, and basically just goes into cryosleep and is like, just wake me up when you need me. And then just goes to sleep, and Cortana just sort of sits there. So, at some point in these 4 years, 7 months, and 10 days, something is scanning this half of a ship. And it's making a bunch of alarms go off, and Cortana's like, holy fuck, this is bad, and is like, I need the chief, open the thing. And the Master Chief comes out like, what do you need? What's happening? Cortana's like, we're kind of in a fucky situation right now. You need to do the shooty bang bang. And the Master Chief's like, oh, I can do the shooty bang bang. So you go and you do the shooty bang bang, and the first enemy.
This is all word for word dialogue, by the way.
Yes, word for
In
word.
case you're wondering.
Yes, totally. And here we get to the first part of the game I don't like, mechanic-wise. The QuickTime events. Halo has never had QuickTime events. Halo is not a game that is really for QuickTime events, but for some reason they decided to add them. Normally I don't have an issue with QuickTime events, but it just doesn't fit Halo to me. But anyway, in this QuickTime event, you climb up a ladder and you're avoiding debris, and you have to time it right or you get hit and fall and die. You get up this elevator and you're hit with another QuickTime event where you have to kill an elite. Which is a little confusing considering the game that was before this. Y'all kind of became chill with the elites. So it's you're kind of like, what? And Cortana sort of waves this off as a lot can change in 4 years, which I guess it can. It's just, you know, a little odd. You're going. You get to this area where you can. It's basically an area where you'd be able to see better what's happening. And you basically open the windows. You don't actually open. You open the blast doors to the windows. If you open the windows, you just die. And Cortana's over here like, it was probably just some pirates, and then it's an entire fleet of Covenant, which is even more confusing. Because it's like, why are you here? And then, you know, it's like, there's also just a giant metal planet just sort of there in front of you, and it's like, what the fuck are you? But anyway, you keep fighting
A giant metal planet.
It's a giant metal planet. Anyway, you keep fighting the Covenant. And you basically you have to basically it's become apparent that this fleet is going to shoot you with one of the glassing lasers, which is a no good. And so, luckily,
Also, maybe a little overkill.
I mean, if you've got a report that the demon is here, wouldn't you? I feel like I would personally if I was part of the company. Just like, who's here? Who?
The what?
The what?
The how?
Huh? I ain't taking any chance of this shit. Glasses ass. Anyway, Mr. Choif goes outside because his suit can do that. Because this half of the ship luckily has missiles that you can shoot at the ships. But you know, everything's busted because it's been cut in half and floating in space for 4 years. So
yeah, perfectly normal ship.
Yeah, so you have to go prime it outside, and then the fucking launcher thing gets stuck, and you have to go and fucking push it because you're a 1-ton Spartan. And you shoot the thing with the missile, and you go kaboom. And then the planet scans you, not the ship, you. It's like, that's concerning. And then the metal planet shell opens and starts pulling you in, and you're like, oh fuck, that's bad. While this has been happening, you're noticing that Cortana's kind of glitching a little bit. It's kind of weird, but like there's too much happening right now to question it. You're trying to get the fuck out of there. You do not. Ship hull is breached. You get sent into space because you're the Master Chief, and you get hit by some debris while falling towards the planet. Title screen.
Title screen.
Title screen. Now, there's some things in this first part that automatically make it a little weird as a Halo game. Not just the game mechanics, though. The Master Chief himself. He's talking a lot for the Master Chief. Now, the Master Chief wasn't technically a silent protagonist. He does talk in the other games, but he doesn't talk a lot. He basically just talks when he needs to, and then is silent for the rest of the time.
He's just like a few lines per mission.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes there are lines that like it's like he's like, what's happening? Or where do I go? But and sometimes he's just being, you know, the cool first-person shooter protagonist and saying a cool thing. But like he never really spoke a lot. For some reason in 4, they decided that he's gonna talk a lot more. I don't know if it's because he's been in cryo sleep for a long time, or if they were just like, you know...
His brain got a little fucked up, so his personality's different.
Yeah, like, I don't know if that's the case, or if, like, it's because it's literally just him and Cortana, they felt the need
Cortana
for...
told me I need to exercise my vocal cords after cryo sleep.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I the only logical conclusion I can come to is because the game, like a good third of the game is just the Master Chief and Cortana existing without anyone else talking to them. They just felt the need for the Master Chief to talk more so they could have dialogue. But other than that, I there's never like a in-game reason given for him suddenly having a more talkative personality. So it's a little jarring if you're just coming off of playing Halo 3 and then you put in Halo 4 and you're like, whoa. This guy's talking a lot.
That's got lines.
He's got lines.
And not just line.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyway, so you wake up in a bunch of rubble because you're the Master Chief. This won't kill you. And you're trying to figure out where you are, and Cortana's glitching again, and you're like, okay, what's up? And Cortana's like, I'm fine, and Master Chief's like, no, you're not. What's wrong? And what Cortana basically reveals here is that she is experiencing rampancy, which is something in the sort of Halo lore, I guess, where AIs start to basically think themselves to death after 8 years of service. It's just a flaw of AI code, I guess.
Specifically, isn't it the way that it works is that like as they exist and they gain like more memories and more, I guess not really like independent thought because when they're made they already have that,
Yeah,
but it's like the little subroutines that they have start also essentially gaining their own tinier
yeah,
personalities.
yeah. I don't know how exactly it works. I just know that there is a specific moment in the game where Cortana explains it as we literally think ourselves to death. So I'm just gonna go
Yeah,
with that.
that is what she says. I still don't get how it works.
I don't either.
There is a mechanism. It's just not explained very well. Which I
Yeah,
don't think is actually the game's fault, because if I recall correctly, rampancy does originate in the books.
yeah, I think that does.
So
So
it is like it is earlier lore
mhm.
from before this game, but like I don't know anything about the Halo books. I have no idea how well written they are. But if they literally like lifted the explanation right out of the book, then I can't imagine it did a very good job explaining what the fuck this is.
Especially if it's from any of the earlier books, yes. Yeah. So anyway, Cortana explains this, and Master Chief, having Cortana be the only person that he really like cares about in a human kind of way, is like, we need to go get Halsey. And Cortana's like, bitch, we are not even in the galaxy. What?
How would we even do that?
Chief's like,
Ask for directions.
just ask for directions. Master Chief's like, we'll figure it out. So, you guys start basically exploring this planet. There's Covenant here because they crash landed with you. And they're trying to kill you, obviously, so you go and you kill them instead. And you get into the planet. You get in. And I think around this point, yeah, so basically they're trying to find a way to contact the UNSC using this planet. And they're doing this because apparently there is a UNSC ship here that had, because before in 3, Cortana sent out a beacon for someone to come find them, when people eventually got out of the galaxy, right? And that beacon's still going, and it's going on the planet. So the UNSC Infinity is like trying to talk to them and like, hey, we're getting your signal. You what's happening? You alive? And they're like, and the Master Chief and Cortana are like, oh fuck, they're gonna get pulled into the gravity well. So they have to go and try to, there's a communication jammer, and they're like, okay, so this is in the center of the planet, so we need to go to the center of the planet to shut off the jammer and talk to them. So you run around using portals and stuff to shut down this jammer, basically. And you finally get to the center, where there's this giant floating ball. The giant floating ball is just in the center of this room, and you put your hands on the fucking controller thing for it, and Master Chief's like, this is UNSC Spartan 117, don't come into the planet, you'll die. And he tries to talk to them, and he just keeps getting himself back through the ball, and he's like, this isn't working. And then this guy just starts talking out of nowhere.
It's the ball.
It's the ball. It's the ball. Some guy in the ball. And it's like, what the heck is happening? And Ban introduces himself as the Didact, the Forerunner's greatest warrior. So I guess the Forerunners aren't gone. There's one right here. He has 6 fingies. Why does he have 6 fingies?
He's a little freak.
He's a big freak. He's bigger than John.
He's a pretty big freak.
He's bigger than John, and John is like 7 feet tall.
Okay.
So, anyway, so basically, actually wasn't a communication jammer, it was a prison. And what you have essentially done is fallen into the Didact's trap. He actually was putting you through all the steps to unlock his little ball cage. And
how is he doing that from in the little ball cage?
I don't fucking know. Anyway.
Moving on.
He has telekinesis, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he just like waves his hand and the Master Chief's picked up and he does like the force choke except with like the whole body instead of just the throat. And he's like, you're a little bitch.
You're a little bitch baby.
You're a little bitch baby, and throws John.
Get in the hole.
He specifically says something that when I first played this game caught me a little off guard. It was something about humanity being weak and unworthy in his eyes of inheriting the mantle of responsibility.
Responsibility.
And I'm like, huh?
What is all of that?
What does that mean? But you know, I didn't think much of it at the time. So we're gonna move on. Anyway, throws John to the side. He's like, I'm gonna leave. And he goes to leave, causes the facility to collapse. Master Chief Cortana, get the fuck out of there. On a ghost. Get out of there on a ghost, and they almost fly the ghost straight off a cliff. And John does the thing where he like crashes, but not without killing himself.
This time.
This time. And what you see coming through the clouds from this cliff is the UNSC Infinity, because they did not get your signal, and they're just kind of like, well, fuck. We're fucked. As they crash into this in the distance. They don't crash in a way that's like, you know, big explosion, everyone dies, but it's got a rough landing for a ship that isn't meant to go into orbit. So basically, Master Chief Cortana are like, well, I guess we gotta meet up with the humans. And so you go and meet up with the humans, and there's more Spartans? There's more of them? They made new ones. They made new ones.
They had to replace Master Chief.
Yeah, yes,
14 guys.
14 guys. Yeah. So,
Fucking Master Chief. I feel like that's a totally acceptable number.
Yes, it's kind of weird to me. Not the fact that there's new Spartans, because of course there's new Spartans. That would make sense. You lose your best Spartan, and it's like, well, we need more. And you know, so they made more, and these ones didn't have to go through the whole kidnapped at 7, tortured into super soldiers. It's horrific trauma. replaced with clones.
Kids these days, am I right?
Kids these days. These ones basically, they made it so the suits that used to like shatter a normal human skeleton don't.
Well, they managed to make them okay. Because I know you're not like really fond of the Spartan 4s, and I understand why you wouldn't be, because their introduction is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the explanation does make sense, because what we learn very quickly hereafter is like, yeah, the bulk of the Covenant, or at least the elites themselves, are still not necessarily like friends with humanity, but are still allies with them, and they are sharing technology back and forth. Especially because, as we learn in Halo 3 ODST, the Covenant doesn't actually do most of their own technology stuff. That's all the Huragok. The fucking floating gas bags all do that.
Engineers.
Engineers. They're engineers.
They never do anything.
The gas bag snake snail people do all their engineering for them.
That explode.
And they also explode, yes, because they are filled with helium.
Yes. Poor little guys.
Poor guys.
Poor guys.
And so like after the normal Covenant disbands at the end of Halo 3, most of the Covenant doesn't know how to do their own technology anymore. So like humanity and the elites together are essentially relearning Covenant tech. And that's what like enables the Halo 4, the Spartan 4s.
The Halo 4.
I almost said the Halo 4 Spartans,
in the Halo 4.
I almost said Halo 4 Spartans, which wouldn't be incorrect, but is not what I meant to say.
Yeah.
That's why the Spartan 4 armor doesn't crush their bodies, and why they can still receive like cybernetic enhancement after being not children anymore.
Yeah, like my hatred for
I wouldn't call it hatred.
Well, no. Let me finish my sentence.
Okay, sorry. Apologies.
My hatred for the Spartan 4s has sort of diminished over the years, because I've sort of realized, like, even without that whole explanation, 4 years you can do a lot of technological advancement, especially if you're allied with
in a sci-fi setting.
Yeah, in a sci-fi setting, and you're allied with people who have better technology than you. But like, I can see the logic, even if you don't know all the details. I can see someone putting the pieces together and going, okay, I get it. So like, I don't hate them as much as I used to. The one Spartan 4 character in the game, however, God, I hate her.
I think she's fine.
She's just. Her first line to you is, "I thought you'd be taller." Like,
she's making a joke. Listen, viewers.
It's not a good one.
No, I'm not saying it's a good one. Listen, this is my thing here. My stance on this game is Halo 4, what it's technically trying to do is to be like, who the fuck even is the Master Chief when he doesn't have like a war to fight? Because he was raised and indoctrinated to be a soldier in the military since he was like 7 or something. And so it's like, does he even have his own like internal sense of personhood? And I think that's a good theme to explore. I think that's like, if you wanted to take a more narrative, or not a more narrative, but a more character-driven approach to Halo, I think that's the one to take. That makes sense to go down that road. Then they like do it really badly the whole time. Because you don't get like a decent sense of any of like Master Chief's own like internal thoughts about the situation, other than his desperation to keep Cortana alive. Which does translate into it, I think, sort of well. Because he's desperate to do that, because she's his only connection to personhood. She's the only person who knows everything he's been through, who he thinks can see him as a person.
Yeah.
But it's like the relationship he has with everyone else in the game is not really explored by the game like ever at all.
No.
Uh,
It's
and
funny
it's all like
because
it tries to. Sorry,
it's okay.
it tries to be like witty one-liner banter, and it fails so
Yeah.
badly.
Like you know why the witty one-liner banter worked in the first few games? It's because it was like Johnson.
It worked in the first few games because it was it was more of a military science fiction action thriller
yeah.
than a character-driven story, which 4 is trying to be, I think.
Yeah, and and that's the other thing. It's just like they're trying to do. Here's the thing. Johnson to me is a specific type of character that can only exist in like sci-fi action, witty banter sort of setting, right?
He can really only exist in military science fiction.
Yes, and like I
Or
love him.
military
He's
stories.
amazing. I love him, but you know, when you try to take those one-liners and put it in a game like 4, which has sort of pushed itself away from the mindless we're gonna blow everything up and look cool, it doesn't fit. It like at some point it just like
It's like how the witty banter has pervaded the MCU.
yeah.
That's actually a pretty decent example.
Yeah.
Because
No,
the he's right behind me, isn't he? Is funny at first, but it's been well over a decade.
yeah.
Yeah, and it also
that.
stemmed. It also, stemmed from Tony Stark, and then
Expanded.
he became popular enough that they're like, oh, we have to do that with every single character.
Yeah. Well,
But guys, who's gonna be the next Tony Stark?
and you can even compare like the shift in narrative because like when the Marvel movies started, they were just campy superhero movies and like there was some deeper like attempts at like commentary, but that was not the main point. The main point was Iron Man do the funny little missile thing and make the man go boom boom, and it's cool and funny.
Also, like before it was the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was just a bunch of movies, and they all had their own like actual arcs. It's been talked to death, but we can also talk about it.
Yeah,
it's relevant. We talk about a bunch of other things that have been talked to death. Why can't we do this?
Yeah, it's relevant to what we're talking about anyway. Like,
it's.
I would say it is like the MCU is like military sci-fi adjacent.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair assessment of it, I think. It is broadly science fiction because I think they even do try to explain some of the magic in the world using the vague science mumbo jumbo.
Right.
They attempt to do a one-liner for Sarah Palmer, that's her name. For Sarah Palmer's introduction, it just makes her annoying to me. I don't know. I don't like her.
I just don't think the staff at 343 could really do character writing very well at this point in time.
No.
I think they were trying to have it to where you have because Sarah Palmer is also an experienced soldier, but I think they were trying to have it where it's like you've got your stoic grumpy badass guy, and then you have your like also badass but more jokery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what doesn't help with it either. She doesn't really show up any other time in the game. Like she's in the background, you can see her, but she doesn't like
she's
talk
around,
to you. Like that is one of the only things she says to you directly.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
We're certainly one of the characters in the game.
Yeah, like she's barely there, and I know for a fact that like they thought she was gonna be a big thing because I don't remember how, but like I'm assuming Christmas or birthday, I got a hold of comics that predominantly show her and Lasky running around on adventures that I've never read because I don't care because I don't like her.
What about Lasky?
I might read them for Lasky, but anyway, It's also hinted
Like,
at this in the scene that like Lasky and Master Chief have a history, which I know because there's like a mini movie, I guess, called Forward Unto Dawn, I think. And it's literally just the story of how Latsky went through boot camp and the Covenant attacked and the Master Chief saved him. So that's what that's referring to. But that's never explained in the game. So it's literally just Lasky and Master Chief, and Lasky's just like, I never thought I'd see you again, and then it's just never brought up again.
I think you can easily brush it aside in game of being like, man, I thought you were just in space forever.
Yeah.
Like,
It's once you know why he says that, you're just kind of like, why didn't we explain that? a lot of stuff in this game is left up to interpretation.
oh, I love it when they do that.
I love it so much. And if you
I
want
love
an
it when
actual specific,
okay, I do actually love it when people do that, but you gotta be good at it.
yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying when you do it for the explicit purpose of like, if you buy the books that came out immediately after the game did, you can know why they said that. Because then it's just like, can you just put that in the game?
No, context costs extra.
Yeah.
Context costs extra. I've never seen or heard like a better fucking explanation of that, like media synergy bullshit of like it is context costs extra. You want to know what's going on? Buy my book.
Yeah.
It's the extra dialogue DLC.
Oh my god.
Sponsored by EA.
Sponsored by EA. Anyway, so getting back to the plot here. Master Chief and the Spartans are they're trapped because the Covenant's here, and they're like orga booga, and they're trying to get the I think the captain of the ship to send down a team to help them, and the captain's like, no, you can figure it out. And hands up. The game's trying to subtly convey to you that the captain's an asshole. So anyway, Master Chief does the Master Chief thing and saves them because he's the Master Chief and that's his job. So y'all get onto the Infinity, and you get on the Infinity and you meet like Captain Man, and it's
Captain Man.
driven further. It's what's it? Wiki help. Andrew Del Rio, who is a white guy, by the way.
Hey, you could be normal Spanish instead of
I guess.
normal. So I didn't mean to say it like
I
that.
don't know. I don't know. Andrew Del Rio.
He could be from Spain.
He could be from Spain. You're right.
Future Spain.
Future Spain.
Neo Spain.
Neo
Even though I'm
Spain.
pretty sure the Earth in this world is a world government. Anyway,
I mean, I think you're correct, but
What is that? What is that supposed to mean? Does the world government mean that there is no Spain?
I guess.
There's Africa still.
Well, Africa's a continent.
Yeah.
The continents don't go away. Those are just bodies of land. Anyway, so you meet with Andrew over here. And Andrew I'm not gonna call him Captain. And Andrew is like, yeah, we need to leave. Now, at this point, you as the Master Chief and Cortana have done your main character thing, and you know that the Didact is trying to escape and do bad things to humans. But the Captain's like, I believe you think you saw that? The Master Chief's like,
I believe that you are saying that.
Yeah, the Master Chief and Cortana are like, did you not see the giant ball scan our fucking ship for the location of Earth? And he was like, yeah, but we need to leave. So, him being the captain, you unfortunately have to listen to him. And, you know, you go to shut down the gravity wells so the ship can leave. Now this man isn't a like the worst captain. There's a point where you've got some soldiers that get trapped and he tells you to go get them. So not the worst captain, but still bad. And basically you're going and you're destroying these you're going to destroy the gravity well, but first you have to destroy these giant cannons that are blasting all your stuff out of into oblivion. So you destroy the cannons, and trying to remember. this is where my memory's starting to go away.
So honestly, what I remember for the bulk of the game is you just trying various things to get the Infinity working and get out of the Shield world, which is what that planet is called. At first, just so you can leave, but then also so that you can punch the Didact in the nuts.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, thank you, Wiki, I found it. So anyway, so you disable the cannons, and then you, Master Chief John Man, go in to disable the gravity beam before reaching this, objective of yours. However, you get interrupted by the librarian. A dead Forerunner lady. How is she here?
I think her consciousness is stored somehow, but...
See...
Astral projection.
Astral projection. See, here's the issue. Not explained in the game. It's just not, so... it just doesn't... Anyway, so... this lady is like, okay, it's exposition time, John Spartan. So she throws a bunch of exposition background lore at you, which is where we are going to get into my emphasis of all the Forerunner talk in the prior games. In all of the prior games, it was either hinted at or directly stated that humans were Forerunners, that we were their descendants, that we were literally like them, and that is the reason why we can touch their buttons and their buttons do stuff for us, whereas with other species that is not the case. This scene says fuck all of that. And instead tells a story of how the humans are their own species and not Forerunner, came from another galaxy trying to run away from the flood, brought the flood here, and for some reason, after doing that to the Forerunners, bringing the flood to them, they decided to hand us the mantle of responsibility for seemingly no reason. I feel the need to express that when this scene happened, the first time I played this game with my dad, we both watched it, we just hated it. Like, they just straight up said, you know that build-up that happened in the past 3 games? Fuck you. Fuck you, it's not real. This is all a lie. Which, in my mind, is dumb, not just because they essentially retconned a rather big part of the prior plot, but also because they do such a bad job at explaining why we got the mantle in the first place, because they don't explain that. They just explain how we got here, and then we got the mantle, I guess. It is beyond me why the Forerunners, a species that is in my mind, one of the most egotistical species in this entire galaxy was like, oh, you brought the flood and basically killed us all? Here, this is yours. You get the mantle. We trust you. You're employee of the month. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, I don't know why this weird alien magic lady is talking to me. I don't know why she's telling me this.
Doesn't she then say that, like, because I want to get to the part that I have problems with. Because I was not nearly as invested in all of the actual game lore as you were / are still.
Oh, yeah.
Just yeah, that's what the / are still is there for. But I enjoy it, and I do.
I thought it was for using an online speech when you were like saying something ridiculously.
Yeah, / ridiculous. Doesn't she go on to say that, like, humanity's path going forwards, they're like, after the flood and after the halos went off, that humanity's like evolution, I guess, has been like essentially guided and encoded into them by her?
Something like that.
Something like that. And vague as hell. I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to mean.
Yep.
Because what even? How do you even do that? B, if this is the idea of like everything humanity's done, including the Spartan Project, has been in order to elevate them as a species further beyond, and it's like Spartans are the next stage of human whatever. I hate that when you do that in science fiction. I fucking hate that trope where it is XYZ. I hate that argument in real life too, where it's like, insert whatever is the next stage of human evolution, or is the true form of humanity.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
I think it's really, really true. But when I say true form of humanity, I mean like, sorry, my brain's too full of politics. I immediately thought of like the crazy people who would analyze your skull and be like, oh, well, I can tell your genealogy from the shape of your forehead. And therefore your destiny is determined by the distance between your eyes and your nose.
Yeah.
Those people.
Yeah.
And like that insane bullshit. It unfortunately reminds me of eugenics, like, immediately.
Yeah. It's also just kind of like a weird step to take it, because it's like, okay, this, like, you're talking to someone who was kidnapped as a child, forced through a military program, experimented upon, and then shoved in a suit that would break a normal person. And then forced to go fight a war for the rest of his existence. And you're saying that's the next step? Kidnapping children and shoving cyber parts in them. That's
Doesn't
not
that sound
a
like
good
Jacoby
next
to
step.
you?
Like, that's a terrible next step, librarian. What the fuck? It also, in my mind, sort of like almost removes like responsibility from Halsey, because this entire time it's become quite apparent that Halsey's kind of an asshole, and she was like, I experimented and killed a ton of kids, but like, hey, we got Spartans now.
Ain't that chill?
Ain't that chill? And it's like, it's this whole thing is like, you killed children for science. It's kind of fucked up, lady. And now the librarian's over here. Well, actually, that was my idea, and I programmed it into you all. So, like,
your genetic destiny this whole time has been to torture children.
Yeah, like, that's just doesn't
just like real eugenics.
Just like real eugenics. And also, like, real eugenics, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, like, I don't know if this is, like, trying to make this whole narrative of the Forerunners were actually evil the whole time, which, like, I never thought they were good. I never thought they were evil,
They
but I never
made
thought
a
they were
bunch of
good.
fucking things to blow up the world because they couldn't think of a better way to deal with the flood.
I mean, the flood's really hard to kill.
And I'm not saying that there was gonna be a better way. I'm saying that they gave up like a bunch of pansy-ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, so,
It's military sci-fi. That's the end goal of everything.
blow it up. Blow it up.
That's genre eugenics.
That's genre.
Eugenics.
See, genre isn't actually that clear and defined. Let me load up my spreadsheet.
Well, okay. The other thing that makes this scene a lot worse is that, like, compared to the Didact especially, they almost paint the librarian in, like, a heavenly kind of light. Like, she's the good guy here, and it's like, okay, we're talking about someone who was part of a people who basically saw themselves as gods, who collected all of the living samples of species in the galaxy, killed them all, including themselves, and then just shoved it all back and was like, that'll work. That'll work. That'll be fine. And then this lady's over here like, I just rewrote your genetic code so that you will be predisposed to eugenics. Aren't I such a good person? You should be thanking me.
Also, like, to be clear, that's our interpretation of what she's saying, because what she's saying is extremely unclear.
Yes, like,
I don't know another way to take it.
Yeah,
I hope that there is.
maybe she doesn't know how we were gonna get there. She just knew we were gonna get there, you know, and we just picked the very wrong direction. That could be the case. I don't know. But with the little tiny itty bitty amount of info that this woman has given us, I have to assume this was just her plan. Like, I can give her the benefit of the doubt, but, like, why would I? I just met this person.
She doesn't deserve it.
What's the thing is, like, I just met this person. I have no idea who she is. I don't even know if she's telling the truth. Are you lying to me? Who the fuck are you? Not to mention, right before the scene happens, she basically kidnaps Cortana in front of your face. And so it's like, what is happening? Who the fuck are you? It's a really bad moment. It's a really bad scene, and it destroys a lot of lore and a lot of perceptions that were in the prior stories. And it doesn't do it in, like, a cool, twisty, woo kind of way. It does it in a what the fuck are you doing kind of way.
No. And then she, like, further evolves the Master Chief or whatever.
Yeah, she's like, here, let me
Or at least
evolve you
makes
more.
him immune to the Composer.
Yeah, she's like, here, let
Which
me
is
just.
the MacGuffin. Did
let me
we talk
just-
about the Composer? My brain's
No,
kind of
we're
soupy.
not at the Composer yet.
Whoa.
Yeah, so anyway, so the Master, so she's like, hey, I'm gonna evolve you now, and the Master Chief's like, what? And then just, and then she evolves him, whatever the fuck that means. We don't get to know. You can't see him. He's in a suit. So he wakes up from this weird fever dream. Cortana's there now, and the Master Chief's like, oh yeah, I guess I forgot to mention she also tells the Master Chief Didact's plan, because apparently the Didact is horrifically xenophobic towards humans and just wants to kill them all. He just wants to kill them all. And there's this whole explanation of how he wants to digitize everybody, but he just wants to kill them all.
Specifically, he wants to, like, digitize their consciousnesses and use them as the, like, basis for his, like, techno hardlight soldiers, because he views the place of humanity as beneath him, but he knows that they'll never submit willingly or without a war. And he's like, well, fuck it, I guess war it is. Die.
Yeah, but, like, he essentially wants to kill all the humans and turn them into robo soldiers. And so she explains that, I guess. not nearly as offensive as everything else in that scene, but you know. So anyway, you wake up from the fever dream. Cortana's there. You try to explain it to Cortana, but Cortana's like, she already filled me in. And you guys go and shut off the gravity well, I guess. So, anyway, you learn this. You try to bring it up with the captain again. Captain, once again, is like, I believe you think you saw that. Because he's an asshole. And the Master Chief...
I believe that you believe what you're saying.
Yeah. And the Master
Twirls his mustache. I don't remember if he has a mustache.
He does not have a mustache. He's kind of balding. He's just some old guy who's kind of balding a little. Anyway, the guy's like, well, we can just warn the rest of the UNSC when we get out of the planet. And the Master Chief's like, we could prevent him from leaving in the first place. And the guy's like, just no. I don't feel like it. This whole time Cortana's rampancy has been kind of like happening throughout the game. It's just an ever increasing problem because rampancy. But at this point it sort of becomes a bigger problem because Cortana has a bit of a meltdown while in the ship's system. And she basically is like, I will not allow you to leave this planet, and yells, and a bunch of wires short circuit, and there's a whole shockwave through the ship. And she's clearly not stable, and that has made that clear to the entire ship. And it's UNSC protocol to take a rampancy AI and make it go by. Yeah, take him out back. Make him think of the puppies.
Send him to a farm upstate.
Send him to a farm upstate.
Make him look towards the field and think of the rabbits.
Yeah. Think of the rabbits.
Get of mice and men, idiot.
Get of mice and men,
dumbass.
But anyway, so this captain's already frustrated with these two. Is like, fucking get that ship and dispose of it. And the Master Chief intercepts and puts Cortana back in his head. And the captain's like, hand me the chip. And the Master Chief's like, no, sir. And the guy literally like points at Sarah and is like, arrest him, he's defying my orders, which is like, you're gonna arrest the Master Chief?
Like, he's like, what are you asking me to do? Are you stupid?
Everyone ignores the captain, and the Master Chief just walks off at the
only good Sarah moment in the game, if only because she has no other moments.
Only good Sarah moment because she literally just stands there and doesn't do anything. Anyway, so the Master Chief's going, and the Cortana's like, how are we gonna find another way off the planet? Because the Master Chief's just gonna leave the ship. He's just gonna go do his own thing. And the Master Chief's like, we'll figure it out. And Lasky's like, hey, hi, I followed you down here. I'm technically supposed to stop you. And it's you know, it's such a shame that this pelican just has suddenly arisen from the garage, and oh my god, the keys in it?
Man, it's got to be a severe technical error that the Pelican rose up, and whoever left the keys in there, they're in big trouble anyway. See you at dinner.
Yeah, Matt, you know, it's like I tried my damnedest to stop you, but I just can't believe you got in the Pelican before I got here.
Got in the Pelican before I got here. After I showed you that the Pelican was here, but before I got here.
Anyway, yeah, so Lasky basically just does you a solid.
Anyway, I'll see you later after you do all the actual work.
Yeah, I love Lasky. Anyway, Master Chief gets in the Pelican and the go, and the plan is basically there's a bunch of these like floating pillars that the didact is sort of like using to gain power or something. Bu- 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 Yeah, okay. So there's a bunch of pillars that are giving the Didax fucking ball shields and power, which would allow him to go into space without fucking dying. And so you're trying to disable all these pillars, um, and you know, I think at first you're going to like one pillar at a time, but like you and Cortana realize this is going way too slow. Also, the Didax is sort of like telepathically talking to you, and Cortana can't hear it, but you can. So he's got telekinesis and telepathy, I guess.
It's the neural implant in my brain, Master Chief. You wouldn't know that being a stupid, stinky human.
You stupid stinky.
You
With
see,
your
back in 2025, when Elon Musk went to Mars, we Forerunners went with him.
He's using telepathy to taunt you and say words to you and be a little bitch. But anyway, you and Cortana realize that like this is going too slow, and you realize there's a main central control that if you put Cortana's chip in the central control, she can shut them all down at once, and then boom, he can't leave. So Cortana, you get to the central one, you stick Cortana in the thing, and Cortana's about to do it, and then she has a rampancy attack, and it doesn't work, and he goes into space. Before he goes into space, though, Master Chief improvises, fucking sprints to the Pelican, fucking yeets it through the portal with the others that the fucking Didact's taking, and they go and the they go because
they should.
they go. So at some point in all of that, the Master Chief Cortana learned that the Didact is going for something called Le Composer. Le Composer is a giant weapon that the Didact can use to digitize the people. And you don't want him to do it. So you go to this like science station called Ivanov Station, where they're basically researching Halo Installation 03 and this composer thingy they just sort of found. And the Master Chief tries to land, or I should say Cortana tries to land, has another rampancy episode, they crash into the building, because of course the Master Chief can never have a successful landing.
His most successful landing is when he jumps from orbit.
There's one vessel I have complete control over, and it's myself. Jumps out of the ship.
It's my body leaps into space.
Anyway, so you meet up with this with Dr. Tilson, who is another character I like. I like Dr. Tilson. She's literally just like a researcher. She's not some sort of badass military person or any. She literally is just a researcher in a lab coat. And she's like 60.
I'm here to do my job.
Yeah, so she's kind of panicked because
I'm retiring next year. I sure hope I don't die.
Funny you should say that.
It's actually true that she is close to retiring.
Yeah, but so anyway, yeah, you meet up with Tilson, and Tilson's like, yeah, so we're getting attacked. I'm so happy you're here. And the Master Chief's like, yeah, so they're after this composer thingy. We need to get, he's gonna take it. And she's like, take it? Do you know how much equipment it took to get it in here? What do you mean he's just gonna take it?
I'd like to see him fucking try.
See him fucking try. And
Telekinesis.
yeah, and the Master Chief's like, he's doing his military thing. That being, well, I guess we have to blow it up. So the Master Chief basically tells this lady, like, do you guys have any, like, nuclear bombs that I can detonate here? And she's like, what? And Cortana...
No, what the fuck?
Cortana
This is a research station.
Yeah, Cortana chips in like, yeah, I mean, that would definitely destroy the composer. He couldn't get it. And she's like, wait, no, we have like years of work here. You can't just do this. And he's like, I kind of have to, or he's gonna kill people. And she's like, oh, okay.
Fine.
Okay, fine.
I've been working on this for 30 years.
They said I could only retire once I finish working on this.
I guess if it's exploded, that means I can retire because it's fucking gone.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll get that ready for you. And she's like, so the next time you save us, could you give us more time to pack? And he's like, okay.
I'll try.
I'll try. They leave. And you leave, and you're basically trying to defend the composer until the nuclear weapon is given to you. Unfortunately, they can't produce it fast enough. The Didact yoinks the composer. And you're trying to like figure out what's happening, what's going on. And the composer kind of starts lighting up as it's pointed at the facility, and Cortana's like, I'm trying to shut it off and the systems aren't working. And then the composer hits the building and everybody dematerializes into a bunch of ashes, including Dr. Tilson.
Oh, yeah, they get like skeletonized first, don't they?
They are peeled away layer by layer. So skin, flesh, bone, nothing. And this is very vividly depicted, which is a
Fucking Ark of the Covenant.
yeah, it's honestly like a
They're not quite melting, but
it's a strange amount of gore for Halo. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I know the flood's like a whole thing, but that's like a different type of gore than someone getting peeled apart layer by layer. But anyway, it's a pretty, I'd say that's actually like a pretty good section, just because like it's interesting to see the Master Chief interact with just like a normal person. And just see how like weird he is compared to just this research lady.
wow, the good part of the game.
Yeah.
All 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, all 10 minutes of it, and then they kill her.
Wow, oh my god, Alina, look. It's the theme, Peter. Both of you, my friends.
Oh my god, it's the theme for a whole 10 minutes, and then they kill everyone.
Yippee.
Yippee. So yeah, so Master Chief collapses from this.
Just because you won't die from it doesn't mean you don't get fucked up.
Yeah, it's like ow. Anyway, he eventually wakes up. And Cortana says something about I can hear dead people or something. I don't know, it's a weird line. And then the Master Chief's like, it's not over yet. So they get in their Pelican again and they go try to follow the composer Didact man. You catch up with the Didact. You get onto the composer in order to avoid space portal stuff. And then you get to play the worst level in the entire game, in my opinion. The flying one. Not because I don't like flying levels, but because they decided it was a great idea to make all of the obstacles, the ship, the environment, and all of the enemies the exact same fucking colors. This is a level of poor game design that pains me. Because, you know, my dad has always complained about this level, and he always says, well, it's because my eyes are bad. And I'm over here like, no, Dad, it's just that bad of a level. I can't see them either.
I remember that level. It took us like half an hour.
Mm-hmm. It took us half an hour to do a level that should take like 10 minutes.
I'd say half the time. I think it would make sense to be, because it is like the last bit of the game. So like I think 15 minutes is
15
fine.
minutes, yeah. It's fine, but it's like the reasons for dying are literally like there's this one tiny pole that you can't fucking see, and then you crash into it and you just explode. And it's like, what?
And the reason like 15 minutes would be fine is because these are action games, so the missions can't be too long, or you lose like the, I guess, like secondary adrenaline you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I think most Halo levels have a par time of 15 minutes. I'm not complaining about the time. I'm complaining for the reason that you keep dying in that level.
About the time. And it takes 30 minutes because you keep fucking dying.
Yes, and you keep dying for stupid reasons. And I wanted to see if they like upped the difficulty in that level on Legendary, so I literally just went to that level and put it on Legendary. It's exactly the same. They changed nothing. It's just like, wow, okay. But anyway, so you're attempting to fly through the etches in the composer. Narratively, you're succeeding. Physically, not so much. But anyway,
narratively, I'm doing great.
Yeah, narratively, I'm the Master Chief and I win. So anyway, you get towards the end of this hellscape, and you hear Letsky! Yay! And Letsy's like, yo, want some help? And the Master Chief's like, wait, where's the captain? And Lasky's like, oh, he got fired because he was being a bitch to you. Because you're the Master fucking Chief. So Lasky's in charge now. Whoop-de-doo. Lasky's here to help, finally. So basically you get to the end of the bad fly bit, and then you get to the fine fly bit where you basically just go around and you're trying to destroy the bits of a laser that are shooting down ships, so the ships can poke a hole in the composer so you can get in and kill the didactic. You can stab him a bunch. So they poke a hole in it, the hole tries to seal itself up, you crash land again. I think this game has the most crash lands for the Master Chief out of the entire franchise, and that's somehow weird. Like, in the older games he would crash sometimes, but here he's crashed like 5. Take this man's license away. Take it away. Anyway, so you get in, and you're like, alright, we gotta get to the didact. We gotta kill him. And Cortana's rampage is getting worse. Yeah, so you still have the nuke. Which you had stored on your ship. But you have now taken it out, and you're just carrying a nuke on your back for the rest of the game. Hope no one shoots you in the back. Yeah, everyone's gonna die.
Impossible. No one can shoot me in the back. No one can shoot the Master Chief in the back. They look at his incredible acts and get too distracted.
I'm sorry.
I had to think of something.
His shoulders are so broad that you physically can't get behind him.
He's just such a lad. He's just such a big lad. You can't get around him. You can't do it.
Or, and my personal favorite theory is he's actually just a PNG that always faces you.
The idea of trying to tell a story of am I even human anymore with a sapient PNG of a man is hilarious to me. And also failing to tell that story because 343 couldn't write narrative to save their lives, let alone character.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway, so through the power of jumping through so many portals, dear god, the amount of portals, Jesus Christ, you get to the center area of the composer where the didact is monologuing. He's already shot the laser, by the way. Colorado is dying. The state of Colorado is currently dying.
So nothing has changed.
So, you're running around trying to shut shit down to get to the middle. And in order to do that, Cortana's like, you know how I'm basically making a bajillion personalities of myself per second? I'm just gonna split them off of me, which is like, you can just do that. Why? Anyway.
I feel like you should have done that at the start.
Yeah, I mean, if you did that like when this first started, you could have like a whole process for this by now. You could live forever. But anyway, so she starts splitting herself up in all these different bits, and you get to the final place where she splits herself up, and then the didact just fucking shoots the panel she's in, and it dissolves. And the Master Chief's like, no, Blue Lady.
She can't call me Stud Muffin anymore.
Am I even human anymore? Am I even Stud Muffin anymore?
Oh my god. So yeah, the best John at this point obviously is distraught because his Blue Lady friend is presumed dead. Because that chip is gone. That chip is just gone. So you get to the center. You're just running along a light bridge. You get to where the didact is, and he's like, bitch, and telekinesis bitch slaps you almost off of the bridge. Well, no, sorry, he grabs you. He does the force grab, and he's holding you over the bridge, and he's like, you're such a weak, stinky human, fuck you. And Cortana, a bunch of Cortanas rise from this light bridge, and they're like, you don't touch the stun muffin. And fucking grab this man with what I'm assuming is the hard light of the bridge. Again, it doesn't explain it, but it's a dire situation. I get why it doesn't explain it there. And she's basically just got this guy pinned to the fucking bridge. He drops you, you fall. Quick time events happen. You fucking stick a grenade on this man's chest. He gets exploded and dramatically falls off of the bridge like, no.
I think he gets caught in like the composer laser beam.
Maybe. We'll go with that. That sounds better.
I think they were trying to be like poetic ironic about it. Like he gets exploded backwards into it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he gets put in. No, he falls off the bridge, but he might fall into the laser. Maybe
the laser's just like below you.
Yeah, maybe. It could be just like a bunch of lasers just getting condensed into one laser. I don't know.
Maybe
Anyway,
if you just die in there, it turns you into a guy in the data space.
regardless, he's dead. He dies. And the Master Chief takes the nuke off of his back, and he's like, "Well, I only know one way to detonate this," and punches the front of it. And a nuke goes off. And what I'm assuming happens here, again, not well displayed or explained, but I think what happens here is Cortana basically uses the hard light bridge stuff to encase you in a ball of hard light so the nuke doesn't get you.
What is a cube?
Hmm?
Is it a ball? It doesn't matter. It's
doesn't-
just
it's
just
an
is a cube in
area.
my memory.
It's
It
a
is
volume of hard light. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It does not matter if it's a cube or a sphere. It's just is a cube in my memory because that
Yeah.
was. I remember the scene being funny to me because it was a cube,
That's fair. That's fair. Okay,
but I
it's a cube.
don't know if that's true or not.
We'll just go with cube, and if we're wrong, oh fucking well. It's an area of hard light. If it's a cube or a sphere, whatever. But anyways, Cortana appears in front of you in full size human size, which is a little weird, but it's a hard light construct. It's fine. Hard light has been a thing in this game series forever. I'm not gonna question it.
I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten like a hard light box previously, like in any of the Forerunner constructs.
Yeah.
Or any of the like Forerunner places that there hadn't been like
I mean,
there'd been like barriers,
yeah,
but not like a box.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the closest thing they have is like some of the buildings are shielded and they're shielded with hard light and it's kind of box shaped, but whatever. Regardless, she puts you in a box. And she appears to you in full human-sized, full form, and basically tells you, "I'm not coming with you." And John's like, "No, you need to call me Stun Muffin." And then Cortana's like,
I need you in my head.
John's like, "You need to call me Stun Muffin." And Cortana's like, "We both called each other Stun Muffin." And we did. And she fucking puts her hand on him and is like, "Oh my god, I can touch things." And then she sort of backs away from him and is like, "Goodbye, John. Goodbye." And Master Chief's like, "No, wait, hold on." And then after that we get the epilogue where once again the Master Chief is aimlessly floating in space. And the UNSC finds him because that's their job, I guess.
My favorite hobby, floating in space aimlessly.
My favorite hobby, trying to find the Master Chief in the composer rubble.
Where's Waldo?
So you get the Master Chief gets yoinked, put back on the Infinity, has a conversation with Lasky, and Lasky's like, "Man, Earth's cool, right? I think of it as home, even though I wasn't born there, but and Lasky basically just talks at the Master Chief, and he shuts up for once in the game. I'm assuming because Cortana's dead. And then Lasky's just like, I'm gonna go. And just John says something to himself about something Cortana said earlier about like she asked me to figure out which one of us was the machine. And then the game ends. Yeah, so that one not good. Not good.
Yeah.
Bad game.
Really do see what they were going for, but it's like, I don't know. It's like these are all good ideas, I think, for the most part, but they're like
Mhm.
good ideas for the beginning of something, not the fourth thing of something.
Yeah.
I think you mean the sixth thing or something.
Sorry, the sixth thing of something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes it worse. Actually.
Yeah, no. It's like I give 343 a bit of the benefit of the doubt here because like even if it is half of the Bungie team, it's still just half of the Bungie team. Like we don't know which half.
And
So
also,
like
um, sorry, I just remembered something.
uh,
Which is like, Bungie staff themselves were pretty divided about if the Forerunners should be a different race, or if they should be ancient humanity, even like up until the third game, which is
mhm.
why it's more ambiguous until the end of the third game.
Yeah.
Uh, and it so happens that the staff that ended up at 343 liked the idea of Forerunners not being humanity more,
Yeah.
and so ended up trying to do some retcon stuff, which is fine. That happens all the time in ongoing series.
Mhm.
They just did it badly.
Yeah. Look, it'd be one thing if like cuz a lot of the more obvious retcons in the original games were like, you know, the scarabs are different now.
Sure.
You know,
I mean,
it's
but even big stuff gets retconned as things go on. Nothing can remain consistent forever.
well,
I
no.
just I think the easier way to have done it is, instead of having Forerunners be a full different species, is to redefine them as a society of various species, and humans were one of them. And it
Yeah.
just so happens that none of the Covenant were any of them.
Yeah. Like that would have worked. It like I don't know. It's just it to me there was just so much build up in the prior games to that being like confirmed that we were Forerunner.
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 comes along and just fucking nopes that, like just slaps it away. And it's like you like and they do it in a fucking exposition dump of all things. It's like you didn't even try to like naturally flow that with what was established prior. You just went, fuck you, have an exposition dump. This is the lore now. It's just so abrupt. It's abrupt in a dumb way. Like you could have worked with that. You could have had someone like maybe we meet. I don't know. Maybe you explain something like the mantle of responsibility was given to humanity, and we tried to tell that to the computers and stuff we made, and they all were just not having it. So we're like, okay, fine, humans are forerunners, which would explain why 343 says that in the third game. But no, we're just not going to explain half of it. We're going to explain the other half, and you're going to be completely confused by the end of this, which is essentially my entire sum up of how this game is. It's just you've explained half of it, you didn't explain the other half, and now I'm just confused. And the other half you did explain makes me upset. So it's a bit of a catastrophe. Yeah. And I guess that's the other thing. It's like, because if there's one thing about Halo is that they really like having, at least in the prior games, they liked having villains that like spanned a few games, right?
I mean, yeah, the prophets were technically the villains of the whole first trilogy.
Yeah, and that was fun because you could sort of see the dynamics of these villains change, and like it went from we just think the Covenant's the bad guy, to, oh, there's the prophets also, to, oh, it's just the prophet of truth and he's slowly killing off all the other ones so he can be the only one. You know, like there's a development of plot there, and I like that a lot. But with 4, it's the didact, and then the didact fucking dies. And it's like, okay, I killed the xenophobe. Now what?
Now we
Now we
celebrate.
get a new guy for the next time. What'd you say, Peter?
Now we celebrate.
Now we
Oh, I guess
celebrate.
you're right. We do celebrate.
Yippee!
For all of 10 minutes before the next crisis happens.
Yeah, which we'll get to that one next time we talk about Halo.
The very first time I ever saw an ad for a Halo game was Halo 5.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be. I was just confused. It did not paint anything about my interpretation of the series, Jen. Just my interpretation of that game specifically.
Well, even then
I learned was weird after I played it.
Yeah, even then, the one ad that I saw for 5 with, like, it was Master Chief in a desert with a cloak, and he's got, like, the chip, and it's just like, oh, I gotta find her. That doesn't happen at all. That doesn't even happen remotely in the game.
Yes, I saw for Halo 5 or I'll talk about them. I'll talk about them next time.
Yeah, we'll get into 5. We'll get into 5. In the next time we talk about Halo. But yeah, I guess one. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of other things in this game that technically are explained. It's just they're explained in like one sentence, and then you're just supposed to be like, shit, I guess. Like in the very beginning, like you are not in the Spartan armor you were in 3, which, if you just hear that sentence, that doesn't make any fucking sense. You've been in cryosleep for 4 years. You know? But then Cortana just randomly, while you're getting out of the cryosleep, says like, oh yeah, I upgraded your armor while you were asleep, by the way. It's just like, how?
You have to say that they could have just changed the way that it looks between games and not address it, right? This goes back to the thing of, no, they could have. They could have. That would have been fine. There wouldn't have been any. I don't think there would have been any problems with that. Because you can't. Listen, you can change the design of your characters between games, even if they're in fucking cryosleep the whole time. You can just do that.
Well, see, here's the thing. The other games didn't actually do that. Like, they actually had a reason for his armor changing.
Sure.
Yeah, like
But you also can just do it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I liked it when they gave a reason, because it was like, oh, your armor gets an upgrade now. And then in 3 it was the same armur, because he just got off of the high charity.
I understand why you like. I like it too when stuff like that happens, when you get an upgrade and it at least means something, even if it's like a slight mechanical change. But also they can just change stuff and they don't have to address it. And sometimes it's better not to. Like, it would have been better not to this time. He's just got a different design now and no one talks about it. And it would have been a little weird, but it would have been fine.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just like it when they. I don't know. It makes it feel more I guess it makes the military game feel more military.
That's totally fair. And I do prefer that as well. I am just saying, like, in this case, they could have not said anything in game about it and just ignored it. And it wouldn't have been like great, but it wouldn't have been so weird as somehow upgrading your armor while you're in cryostasis.
Or they
where
could
you
have,
can't
like,
open the pod without fucking shit up.
Yeah. Well, something even cooler that I think they could have done is, like, just had the old armor until he meets up with the people and then have them give him a new one.
Yeah.
Like, that would be
been
cool.
Hey, you know what they could have done with that? It could have been like a thing between him and Sarah, where it's like, yeah, we've got new armor now. It also makes you even better too, because it works for everybody. And it like augments your
Yeah.
natural strength even more.
Yeah.
And it's lighter, so you can run faster. And they could have had like a scene between them where they
Yeah.
talk and are characters or something.
Yeah. The other thing that's like kind of silly to me about the explanation they give is like his armor looks the same as the other Spartans. So what, Cortana just knew what they looked like, aimlessly floating in space outside of the galaxy with no contact?
I think she could have guessed, honestly.
I guess she could have guessed, but still, it's like, why don't we make him look a little weird compared to the others? Like, have him stand out a little. That'd be kind of cool.
I would have been.
But like, you know, that's just like a minor pet peeve compared to everything else. Like, this game is like a fever dream, honestly, because when we played it, Cole, I remember there was one point where you turned to me and you were like, "What is happening?" And I just looked at you and went, "I don't know."
That was like, oh, what mission was that? We were like outside the like fucking trawler thing that they have that walks around.
Yeah.
And we were like going up a mountain or like around in like a very rocky area.
Yeah.
And it was like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this?
And I'm like, oh, we're here, I guess. Like, it's a very ridiculous lack of fucking explanation. And then the one time they do a lore dump, they A, don't explain everything, and B, it's a lore dump.
Yeah, it's an exposition dump. They just like
it's an exit
vomit it
dump.
into your mouth like a baby bird.
Yeah, like what, like I liked it better in the older games when it's like you were literally just running around this ring, like, how the fuck does any of this work? And then through running around and pushing buttons, you figure it out. You know, it's like the entire crux of the first game is, what the fuck is this ring thing? Oh, well, this floating ball told me that if I hit the on button, it kills the flood. And then Cortana's like, no, you fucking moron, it kills their food. Where the food, by the way? And then in 2 and 3, it was like, okay, so we know how the rings work now, but there's apparently more? How does that do?
Well, they all work together to blow up the whole galaxy. You thought one ring would explode the whole galaxy?
And so it's like, through playing the game and like I like, not necessarily exploring, but by completing objectives, you slowly piece together how it works and how to stop it and why any of this is happening. In 4, you aimlessly run around, you have no fucking clue what's going on, you get tricked by some random alien bitch who wants to get off the planet, and then some random librarian lady drags you into her dreamland and is like, here, have an exposition dump, child, and then punts you into an evolution thing and kicks you out of her dreamland. And is like, you just now you know what's happening.
I do?
It's just like, what? What? like, why couldn't I just figure this out like I did before? Why do you need to just cram it in my brain and then kick me out? Like, I have told you everything you need to know for the past 2 minutes. Now go, my child.
Air drops you from orbit.
Not again. Oh my god. Anyway, I give this game a 2 out of 10. There's no arbiter, and that makes me sad.
Give this game a 2 out of 10 entirely for the lack of arbiter and no
Yep.
other reason.
Exactly. That is 4 out of 10. Lasky exists. I like Lasky.
I've got a lot of like specific gripes with it, but it wasn't the worst ever to actually play. So yeah, 4 out of 10 is fine.
It's
like
a
a
4 out of 6.
That makes no sense. What the fuck is your scale?
It's the 4th game out of the 6 games.
Oh my god. No, it's the 6th game.
There's no 6th game. I don't know. Why is Latsky like the only good character? And then the rest of the only good new character, and then the rest of them, it's just they're just bad. In comparison to him, I just don't understand what happened.
The answer is really simple, I think. Both Bungie and 343, this era of Bungie at least. We'll talk about what they did with Destiny later.
Uh-huh.
Later, I mean,
and by later, you mean next week.
But they are they're doing a lot of very basic normal writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think in its earlier stages Halo is especially breaching anything that's like particularly untrodden with science fiction. Especially military science fiction. It's doing fully the introduction of the Flood and the Rings. They're not common ideas exactly. So like those, I don't think nothing's new under the sun. But the point is that like you don't see them often. You don't see stuff like that often. I think, at least not in games at that point.
Yeah,
and like character writing was never their strong suit. They're just doing guys. They're just doing like very normal. They looked into a bag of tropes and they were like, okay, so we've got the strong silent guy. He's our protagonist. We have the Johnson archetype, who's like our like loud, brash, sarcastic, but like also really cool guy.
Yeah.
And they just do that for
Yeah.
like 3 games. The character writing in Halo is not excellent by any means.
I still love it though.
And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not saying it's not like the draw of the series is the like
no.
intense character.
What do you mean? Johnson is absolutely the
draw. Johnson's very intense. True.
I love Johnson. I don't care if he's a bag of stereotypes. I love him anyway. He's a good bag of stereotypes.
He's my bag of stereotypes.
Being a bag of stereotypes is not inherently a negative trait for a character. It depends on what stereotypes and what tropes you're pulling from.
Yeah. And he has all
and
the
Johnson's
good ones.
cool. I like Johnson.
Johnson has all the cool ones because he's cool and I love him.
And they did the same thing. They did the same thing with 4, but they're also trying to actually hit some emotional beats and failing because they don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They never had to do that.
They never had to do that, exactly.
Or
so,
when
like,
when they did, it was very brief. You know, like characters dying, you know, the characters were dying and it was like, man, that's so sad. Anyway, this entire area is about to fucking combust. We need to go.
No time to mourn. We have time to shoot though.
Yeah. I think the longest mourning period
you're mourning into bullets, Mr. Choive.
I think the longest mourning period any of the prior games had that had the Master Chief in them was when Johnson died, because it's he gets a whole moment and then everything collapses and you have to run.
What do you mean? Master Chief was in reach at the very
but he
very
doesn't
end.
mourn anybody. He's just in a cryopod. Reach had some really good.
Reach did have some really good emotional storytelling in it, and I think that's probably the staff that left.
Unfortunately, yeah.
The team of Reach is also a bag of tropes.
Yeah.
it's like they do have a degree of emotional depth, and you do connect to them, and you do feel bad when they die. Especially because you know they're going to die, but they do kind of trick you into having hope here or there that they will maybe not die.
Yeah, especially since you play as one of them.
Especially since you play as one of them.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make it out of this, right?
Right, guys?
Right.
I mean, the objective is survive.
They are a bag of tropes, but it's like, in my mind, because you are like constantly following the team, and it's not just, you know, the Master Chief running around and Johnson once in a while going like, Johnson mine. Now go
Johnson
get him.
once in a while showing up and going, ah!
But yeah, it's following the team in that game, so like there's more time for them to like interact as people
And then die memorably.
Yeah.
And so in that way, you get a more emotional story. 4 does not even attempt this, despite trying to be a more emotional story. Hell, I felt more connection between the Master Chief and Cortana in the prior games. Like, there are moments in 4 where it's very clear that Master Chief's like is desperate to save Cortana, but you know, there's also certain moments where you're just like, did we forget she's having rampancy? Do we?
Yes.
Are we just? Is this not a problem? Did we go back into stone hard Master Chief mode? But yeah, I don't have anything else. And if no one else has anything else, then I guess, Peter, you know what to do.
Is your soundboard working now?
So,
I guess we're finding out.
So how are you doing, Cole?
Wait, did it not play?
No,
We didn't hear anything.
we didn't.
Oh my god, I fucking hate voice buttons sometimes.
You want
and credits.
Okay, here. I'll pick one from my soundboard.
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room with rats. And rats make me crazy.
Feels
Crazy?